Hi everyone. In this practice, we're going to learn how to solve an equation for x or y. Or basically we can say we're going to rewrite the equation in terms of x or y. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the first equation. So here we're being asked to solve the equation for y. So we need to rewrite this in terms of y. So what I can do is subtract 2x from both sides. Remember, it's an equation. As long as you keep it balanced, you can subtract whatever you want from both sides or add whatever you want from both sides. So now the 2x cancels. We'll have y on this side by itself equals, and we'll write this expression. The sum of these two terms is negative 2x plus 6. We can't combine them because they're not like terms. And that's it. We did it. We rewrote this equation in terms of y. All right? Let's go ahead and do the next one. We want to solve this for y, or write this in terms of y. So we're going to add 3x to both sides to eliminate the x term from this side. So this will cancel. We'll have y on this side by itself equals, and then we'll have an expression here, 3x plus 9 on this side. So now we have taken the original equation and we rewrote it in terms of y. Both equations are equivalent. All right, let's look at the next one. Again, we're solving for y. So this one's going to be a little bit more steps. So we're going to start first by subtracting 6x from both sides to eliminate this term, to isolate for the y. So this cancels. We're going to have minus 2y left on this side. Don't forget your negative. Copy it down with your number. And on this side, we're going to have negative 6x minus 15. All right, we're not finished because we need this in terms of y. We need to solve it for y. This is negative 2y. Because these two are being multiplied, we're going to have to divide through by negative 2 to get y by itself. So we're going to multiply through by negative 2. Remember, it's an equation. You have to keep everything balanced. Whatever you do to one thing, you have to do to all. All right, so the negative 2's will cancel. We'll end up with just y here equals 3x. And negative 15 divided by negative 2 is going to give us positive 7.5 or 7.5. All right, why don't you pause the video and do the next 4? I'm going to go ahead and do them for you, so when you're finished you can come back and check and see how you did. All right, so we want to add 5x to both sides. Again, we want to solve this for y. We're going to end up with negative 2y on this side equals 5x from here plus 20 because it's positive 20. Okay, we're not finished because we need to solve completely for y. So that means we have to divide every term by negative 2. So then our answer is going to be y equals, we can shift the negative to the top. It'll still be the same. Negative 5/2 x, and then 20 divided by negative 2 is going to be negative 10 or minus 10. And we have now solved it for y. All right, let's look at the next one. We're going to eliminate the x term from both sides. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. We'll have minus 2y on this side equals negative 2x plus 8. We're not finished because we have to solve completely for y. So we need to divide both sides, every term by negative 2. So we'll have y by itself here equals x, because a negative divided by negative is positive, so I'll have x or 1x, and 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. So there's our answer, y equals x minus 4. All right, let's look at number 6. We're going to add 2x to both sides. We'll have minus y, or minus 1y, equals 2x plus 2. But we don't want a negative 1y. We need to divide every term by negative 1 because we just need y. So that's going to be y equals negative 2x minus 2. Okay, so let's look at the next set of problems. Here we are not solving for y, we are asked to solve for x. Okay, so we're going to rewrite each equation in terms of x. So this means we need to eliminate this y term from this side here. So we're going to add 5y to do that to both sides. So this will cancel, end up with x equals 5y plus 2. And we're done. We have rewritten the original equation in terms of x. We're going to do the same thing with number 8. We're going to subtract 6y from both sides. The y term will cancel from here. We'll have 2x equals negative 6y, this term, plus 12. We're going to divide through by 2 because we want to solve for x. We don't want 2x, we want x. So we're going to divide through by negative 2. All right, we'll have x equals, well, negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3, so we'll have 3y. And 12 divided by negative 2 is minus 6. So there's our answer, x equals 3y minus 6. All right, let's look at the next one. We'll start by adding 4y to both sides to eliminate the y term from the left side. Now we just have negative 2x on the left equals 4y plus 8. And we need to get x by itself, so we have to divide through by negative 2. So we'll have x equals negative 2y minus 4. All right, let's keep going. Number 10. Again, we're solving for x. So we're going to add 7y to both sides. We'll have x equals 7y plus 3. And that's done. We don't need to do any more work. We've solved it in terms of x. All right, number 11. We have to start by adding 6y to both sides. We'll have 3x equals 6y plus 12. We need x by itself, so we're going to divide through by 3. So x equals 2y plus 4. And we've solved this equation in terms of x. We'll keep going to number 12. Add 6y to both sides. Negative 4x equals 6y plus 12. Divide through by negative 4. We'll have x equals 3/2 y, negative 3/2 y, minus 3. All right, let's keep going. The next four, basically we have equations, but they're not using x and y's. They're using different variables, and they're asking us to solve for a specific variable. So in number 13, we're being asked to solve for a. So that means we want to get this term here, 3a, by itself first, and then we'll divide by 3 in order to get a by itself. So we're going to add 6b to both sides. So we'll have 3a. We're doing the same thing, except we just are using different letters. Equals 6b plus 18. Let me fix that. That shouldn't be a capital B. Let me erase this. Make this a lowercase b. Okay. We're not done. We need to get a by itself, so we have to divide through by 3. So now we have a equals 2b plus 6. And now we're finished. We've solved this equation in terms of a. Okay, this one we're being asked to solve it in terms of t. So I'm going to subtract, yes, I'm going to subtract k from both sides, or minus 1k. So the k's will cancel here. I'll have ab from here, minus k from here, and I'll just have t on this side, and I'm done. I solved it for t. Okay, let's keep going. 13. Here we're being asked to solve for the variable r. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide out the pi from both sides. To undo a multiplication operation, you have to do division. So see, the pi's will cancel from here. You'll have r squared left by itself, and you'll have a over pi here. But we want r, not r squared. So to unsquare that, you have to take the square root of both sides. Once you do that, you're going to have r by itself here, because the square root will unsquare the square. And then this side here will still have the square root of a over pi. And that will be our answer. All right, last one of these types of questions here. We're solving for t. So I'm going to subtract g from both sides first. So I'll have y minus g equals kt, because here the g's cancel. I'm solving for t, so these are being multiplied, so I need to divide out the k from both sides, or from every term, you could say. Okay, so I'll have t equals y over k minus g over k. There's an equal sign here. Let me fix that. Or you could have written it out this way, y minus g over the numerator k, because they both have the same numerator. We could have written out our answer this way. It means the same thing. All right, on the next page, we're going to be reviewing solving systems. Solve each system by substitution. Okay, so if we're going to solve by substitution, one of the equations has to be solved for x or y. And we don't have that in this case here. But we can fix that problem. You look and see which one is easier to solve in terms of x or y. And it appears the top one is much easier to solve for x. So I'm going to come over here and copy it and solve it for x. So in one step, I can solve this for x. I can just add 6y to both sides. This will cancel. I'll have x equals 6y minus 11 on this side. So I have solved it in terms of x. Now I have a replacement value for x. this is my replacement value for x in my second equation. So in my second equation, I'm going to have 3 times my replacement value for x, right there, 6y minus 11, and I'm going to copy the rest of the equation. And now I'm going to solve it like we know how to solve it. Distribute here and here. So we'll have 18y minus 33 plus 2y equals 7. Okay, we know that our y's are going to combine. They're like terms, giving us 20y minus 33 equals 7. So we have one term with a variable here, and that's the term you want to get by itself. So we're going to need to add 33 to both sides to get the numbers on one side together. Okay, so now we have 20y equals 40. Divide both sides by 20, and y equals 2. Okay, so we have found not x, y. So we've got to put it in the right place. This is our y value. So it goes on the right. We still need to find x. Okay, to find x, I can go back to the first equation, or I can go back to this equation. These two are equivalent, just in different forms. So I can go back to this one here. To find x, I need to replace y with 2 because that's the value of y. That's what we found. So let's do that. X equals 6 times 2 minus 11. So x equals 12 minus 11. That means x equals 1. So then our x value is 1. But again, there's so many opportunities for mistakes, you want to make sure to check your answer. So let's do that. All right, so we are checking, check 1, 2, check the solution 1, 2. We're going to check in both equations. I'll copy. We'll copy this form here. We'll copy this form here. It really doesn't matter. They are equivalent. X equals 6y minus 11. And then we'll copy the bottom one right here. 3x plus 2y equals 7. Okay, our replacement for x is 1. Our replacement for y is 2. So x is 1, y is 2, and we solve. So this is 1. This is 12 minus 1. That means 12. I'm sorry. Let's fix that. That means 1 equals 1. Okay. Fix that. So this is 12 minus 11. So 1 equals 1. This checks. All right, let's see if it's also a solution for the other equation, because there has to be a solution for both to be a solution for this system. So 3 times 1, x is 1, y is 2, 2 times 2 equals 7. Let's see, 3 plus 4 equals 7, so 7 equals 7. It's also a solution for this equation, so we are sure that this is the answer because we have checked it. Okay, let's look at number 17. Let's look at the next one. Again, if we're going to use substitution, one of these equations have to be solved in terms of x or in terms of y. And neither one of these have been solved in terms of x or y, but we can do it ourselves. Okay, so it appears like the top one is much easier to solve for y. If I just subtract 4x from both sides, I'll have y by itself. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So I'll copy it. 4x plus y equals -1. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides to solve for y. So I'll have y equals negative 4x minus 1. So now I can do substitution because I have a replacement for y. And here it is. So now in my second equation, I'm going to replace y with negative 4x minus 1 because that's the value of y. So let's do that. So we'll have 3x, we'll just copy that down, minus 5 times this parentheses here, negative 4x minus 1 equals negative 18. Now you know the next step we have to distribute to get rid of the parentheses. So we'll have 3x plus 20, because we have a negative times a negative, 20x. And then we have a negative times a negative again, that's going to be positive 5 equals negative 18. Okay, you see we have 3x and 20x. These are like terms that can combine to give us 23x plus 5 equals negative 18. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides. And we'll have 23x equals negative 23. We'll divide both sides by 23. X is negative 1. Okay, so we found x to be negative 1, but we still need to find y. Okay, so to find y, we can replace x here with negative 1, and we're going to be able to solve for y. So let's do that. Y equals negative 4 times negative 1 minus 1. Y equals 4 minus 1, so y equals 3. So then our y value is 3. But we always want to check, right? So let's check. Check negative 1 comma 3. Check negative 1 comma 3 in both. We'll use this version here. Again, they are equivalent. Actually, let's just use the original version so you can see it really doesn't matter. 4x plus y equals negative 1. And then we'll copy this one here over here. 3x minus 5y equals negative 18. Okay, so we're going to replace x with negative 1. 4 times negative 1 plus y, which is 3, equals negative 1. Well, that's negative 4 plus 3. It's negative 1. That means negative 1 equals negative 1. That is correct. It has to be a solution for the other equation also. So let's check. 3 times negative 1 minus 5 times 3. Does that equal negative 18? Well, that's negative 3 minus 15. That does equal negative 18. So negative 18 equals negative 18 means it is a solution for this equation. So our solution, negative 1, 3, is a common solution for both of them. So it is the solution for this system. All right, we'll look at one more. All right, so this one here, again, it isn't solved. We don't have an equation that has been solved in terms of x or y. The top one looks easier to solve for x or y. We can choose actually. So I'll copy it here. X plus y equals negative 7. It doesn't matter which one we choose. We can solve it for x, we can solve it for y using just one step. So I think I'll solve this one for x. I'll subtract y from both sides. So we'll have x equals negative y minus 7. So that's our replacement for the x value, not the y, the x value. So in our second equation, we're going to replace x with negative y minus 7. All right. So negative 5 times x, but x is negative, you could say negative 1y, it's the same thing, minus 7, and then copy the rest of the equation. So now we're going to distribute. So we'll have 5y plus 35 plus y equals 5. Okay, you see we're going to combine these like terms, 5y and 1y, to give us 6y plus 35 equals 5. We're going to subtract 35 from both sides. So 6y equals negative 30. We divide by 6, and y equals negative 5. Okay, we didn't find x, we found y. Y is negative 5, so we're going to put that where it belongs. The x goes here, the y goes here. So we need to find x. Okay? We can go to this equation right here, which is equivalent to the original top equation, and replace y with negative 5 to solve for x. So let's do that. X equals negative, use parentheses when you have negative numbers, negative 5, so you don't make a sign error. So x equals 5 minus 7, so x equals negative 2. So then x is negative 2. We need to just check that. You know, you can do mental math. You can check it using mental math. Let's try that for this one here. So replace x with negative 2. Replace a y with negative 5. Negative 2 plus negative 5, is that negative 7? Yes. So it does check. 5 times negative 2 plus negative 5 equals 5. No, actually it does, okay? So we have 10 here plus negative 5 equals 5, okay? So it does check. This is the correct solution. All right, I think I will stop here and you can do the last two on your own. You've got 19 and 20. You can try those on your own. And that's it for this practice.